Now to the impact on America. The Biden-Harris foreign policy of no deterrence for adversaries and a wide-open border has invited hundreds of terrorists that we know of into America. Over 350 individuals on the U.S. terrorist watch list have been apprehended at the southern border in just the last 3 years. Among the most troubling, dangerous gangs from Venezuela, causing Texas Governor Greg Abbott this week to act, officially designating the Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gang a foreign terrorist threat. After the group took over an apartment building in Aurora, Colorado a few weeks ago, harassing residents, they tried to do the same thing to a hotel in El Paso, Texas, last week. The governor continuing his fight to protect America's southern border and the impact of 10 million illegals entering America under the Biden-Harris administration. Joining me now with the very latest is the man himself, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, thanks very much for being here this morning. We so appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Please talk to us about Tren de Aragua and what moved you to designate them a foreign threat.
They are known as the most treacherous international gang. Unlike the Mexican drug cartels, they actually come into countries and try to establish a base in those countries and then be able to wreak carnage with their criminal behavior. And remember this, and that is the policy by the Biden administration is to allow any Venezuelan who wants to come into our country to enter here. And because the Biden administration does not have diplomatic relationships with Venezuela, there's no background checks or background information on any of these people coming from Venezuela to the United States. And hence, it makes it so easy for this TDA Venezuela gang that's so treacherous to come to the United States and set up bases. There are bases in New York and other states across the country, and now including even in the state of Texas. My top goal is to make sure that we protect our fellow Texans. And so I declared this organization a foreign terrorist organization, organized our anti-gang units across the entire state of Texas so that law enforcement at the federal, state, and local levels prioritize this group. We identify them, we seek them out, we arrest them and put them in jail so that TDA will take their activities elsewhere.
Yeah. So what can you do that you couldn't do before because you named them, designated them a foreign terrorist group?
So this is an action pursuant to a law that I signed this last session in the state of Texas that gives the state some additional powers. One is to use court procedures that will accelerate the process going after them. Another that will allow the seizure of any type of property that TDA has in the state of Texas. A third is one that increases criminal penalties against them so that when we do arrest them, they will be behind bars sometimes with mandatory minimum sentences of at least a decade or more.
Governor, what do you think the policies will be at the border if Kamala Harris wins this election? She's done a lot of flip-flopping, as you know, from fracking to the border, and she claims that she will protect the border. Of course, we know she hasn't done so in the last 3.5 years, but what would you expect should she win this race?
So you can expect what she's done as vice president. You can expect what she articulated when she first ran for president, and that is she supports eliminating illegal immigration as a crime. She supports giving magnet-drawing immigration policies such as free health care to people crossing the border. She believes in eliminating ICE. This would be the most destructive border policy ever, making Biden's border policy actually even look good. And so as bad as illegal immigration is already, it will be far worse under a Harris administration.
Yeah, and you know, they're boasting about the fact that the numbers are down from the highs. I mean, at the highs, what we were talking about, 8,000 people a day coming through the border there in Texas. But those numbers are down. What we don't talk about is the fact that oftentimes they're down because this administration has decided to start flying them in, right? They're putting them on planes, flying them to swing states across the country.
Well, you are true, but let's be clear about something else. So they're claiming that the numbers are down because of Biden's executive order in June. The reality is, because of action that Texas took, they began going down last year.
Right.
Because Texas represents 2/3 of the border, because we reduced illegal immigration by about 85% in the state of Texas, of course, the border numbers are going to be down. But you mentioned something else that not enough Americans know, and that is another reason why the crossings at the border are down is because Biden is flying them across the border and then moving them to cities across the entire United States.
Extraordinary, simply extraordinary. Governor, real quick on this gang, what do you see in Texas in terms of the Tren de Aragua? I know that there are plenty of stories of these individuals running around New York City as well, doing petty crimes. But what's the worst of it? What have you seen?
Well, one of the worst parts of it is the Tren de Aragua gang were involved, allegedly, in the shooting and the attack and the assault of those New York police officers.
Right.
They were involved in the killing of Laken Riley. And so these are very treacherous, dangerous, murderous gang members, and we must stop them in their tracks right now.
Governor, thank you so much for your leadership. Great to talk with you this morning, sir. Thank you.